Welcome back to the news at 10. Civil servants in Benue State, north-central Nigeria, have not been paid salaries for over 3 months, creating hardship among government workers in the state. Well, this situation follows an earlier attempt by the state government to slash workers' pay, which was resisted. But the state government blames the problem on what it describes as an impossible wage bill. On our big story tonight, our correspondent Charles Aruka looks at the plight of civil servants in the state.
The massive sculpture of a basket filled with various food crops welcomes visitors into the heart of Makurdi, the Benue state capital. However, for the state referred to as the food basket of the nation, it's probably a case of food everywhere, but none to eat, because the people just can't afford it. For the state's civil servants, both serving and retired, salaries and entitlements have been epileptic, and have not been paid for over 3 months.
September, October, November. So essentially 4 months were being owed now. Okay. Must confess.
At the state secretariat where most of the civil servants work, there is some activity, though without enthusiasm. And after working hours, this is the home of the Tenas in Makurdi. The mood here is obviously depressing. How are they coping without wages?
It's very embarrassing. Actually, today we're going for a meeting and we are suffering actually. We have children and some other relations. And some of us were still paying student fees and all that. So actually we are suffering.
Why hasn't the Benue state government paid its workers for at least 3 months? Well, the state's governor, Gabriel Suswam, provides this explanation.
When minimum wage came, and I said they should negotiate it, I don't know what happened, but they came up with something that was totally outrageous. But because money was coming, then we had excess crude. We also had what to use to call argumentation. So I didn't feel it. That permanent secretary that was on 75,000 is collecting close to 500,000. 470-something thousand. That was a salary increase of over 900%. It doesn't happen anywhere in the world. I never minded. I paid that salary up till now because money was coming. Now the money is not there. Like I said, 3 billion salary wage bill, what I collect is 2.7. IGR, internal generated revenue in a place like Benue, no matter what I have tried. Because what you have here, grocery stores, who do you tax? We're not engaged in poor tax. And so you can't even generate money to complement what you are getting from Federation account.
For those who are retired, having served the state diligently in their productive years, they are not spared the deprivation.
You know you are not working, you are not doing anything, you are just living on this small pension. And not to be, just to keep you, not to pay you for all this long, this is so much killing. In fact, some of my colleagues, some of my pensioners, some are dead. Because most of us live on drugs. We live on drugs. It is out of this small pension that we buy the drugs.
If the governor is helpless in addressing the situation, various politicians in the state believe he has not been proactive enough.
Benue should be run as a creative venture. There should be some bit of creativity, some bit of innovativeness in it, so that Benue can create money, generate money from the abundant natural resources there. Benue, in this era of resource control, should also be able to control the resources, produce wealth, guarantee employment to teeming masses.
The governor's assessment of the situation is ominous and is not likely to improve anytime soon.
Everywhere the governor of Benue is reducing salaries, people didn't know where these people are coming from. I met some people on 9,000. They are receiving 61,000 now. People who are collecting 9,000 a month are collecting 61,000. And I say, you, from 9,000 to 61,000, can I take 2,000 off your money? They said I was reducing money. I was the one who increased that salary. And I told them, I say, it's either we do this or we'll come at a point where we'll be unable to pay salary. That is where we are.
And so the struggle for civil servants continues, though the situation does not look to improve anytime soon. It now becomes an open question. Is there hope anywhere for the Benue State worker to earn his keep? Perhaps someone higher up may have to come to the rescue. For the big story, Charles Eruka for Channels Television News.
A two-day crash management workshop has opened in Lagos for traffic management agencies in Nigeria. Fully supported by Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company, the workshop is aimed at victim support and management, strengthening interagency synergy and supporting volunteers.
It's not every time you get to see men of different agencies gather in a common room. But considering the role they play in emergency management and intervention, Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company has put together this capacity strengthening workshop for post-crash management.
I know that in your day-to-day jobs as Federal Road Safety Corps and other agencies, you spend most of your time, and rightly so, in trying to prevent road accidents. And indeed, that is where the focus needs to be. But we cannot ignore the fact that accidents still do occur. And so when these accidents occur, how do we try to minimize the fatalities that result from them?
Shell Petroleum Development Company, SPDC, and Shell Nigeria Production and Exploration Company, SNEPCO, for investing enormous resources in the capacity building of emergency management agencies and appeal to other well-meaning corporate organizations to follow suit in this regard.
The first hour in every crash management is regarded as golden, considering that some victims suffer more injuries from their handling of incidences than the accident itself.
We have various emergency and traffic management and road safety agencies in the country. For us, seeing them together, working together, and learning to build that synergy. When we see them do this as a team, then we know we have achieved 70% of our targets. Our other 30% is seeing them demonstrate the ability to manage together as a team the actual victim management.
Safety is key to SNEPCO's operation. The United Nations Decade of Action 2011 envisages a 50% reduction of road deaths by the year 2015. Reaching that goal and perhaps shooting beyond it will be a key derivable from this timely intervention at saving lives. Oli Phillips, Channels Television News.
First Bank.
Welcome to Business News. The International Monetary Fund has applauded the CBN's recent monetary actions of further tightening the monetary policy rate and devaluing the naira. The IMF Mission Chief for Nigeria, Mr. Jean Leon, in a statement today, said the international organization views the move as complementary and a step in the right direction. He adds that the global economic situation remains fluid, but the authorities in Nigeria need to be prepared and consider additional measures to manage its downside risks. In its 2013 Article 4 consultation report on Nigeria, the IMF had recommended the adoption of a more flexible exchange rate to deal with the economic challenges confronting the nation. Well, crude oil prices sank to a 4.5-year low on Thursday on news that OPEC has kept its production levels unchanged. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries met in Vienna, with the members deciding to keep the group's production targets the way it was. The 12 OPEC members are maintaining production at 30 million barrels per day, as first agreed in December 2011. Following the announcement, Brent crude fell below $72 a barrel, hitting levels not seen since August 2010. Crude oil prices have fallen 30% since June on sluggish global demand and rising production from the United States. The Continental Survey that rates 3 Nigerian airports as some of the worst in Africa is a confirmation of the reality in Nigeria's aviation sector. Now, this is according to an aviation expert, Femi Akintunde, who believes the poor infrastructure of the nation's airports, who blames the poor infrastructure of the nation's airports on the lack of proper facilities management in the concessioning plans. In resolving the problems, he believes the government must be less involved in running the airports.
Whether the assessment is correct or not, it doesn't change the reality. And the reality is that our airports are not in good condition. One of the things I strongly believe has not been taken into consideration is the facility management component. You concession an infrastructure for 25, 30 years. Yes, you will pay certain amounts to government. You will be allowed to charge at this rate. And this is how your price will be monitored and regulated within a band. Government role should be relegated to that. Setting the framework, providing the infrastructure which they have provided the airport. But when you talk about the maintenance of it, any third party who wants to be the concessionaire must demonstrate capability to government that in the 25 years, this will be the minimum maintenance standard I will ensure.
And positive bargain hunting continued for a third straight day at the Nigerian equities market as the broad index grew 0.35% to 34,705 points. Temple Ashaju has more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Positive bargain hunting continued for a third straight day at the Nigerian equities market as price losses posted by some market heavyweights did not affect the bullish sentiment. The key broad index grew further by 0.35% to close at 34,705.48 with a market capitalization of 11.45 trillion naira. Petroleum marketing stocks Forte Oil and Mobil were amongst the day's top 3 gainers, appreciating by 10 naira 19 kobo and 7 naira 81 kobo respectively. With a 21 naira 99 kobo loss, Surplus Petroleum Development Company shared gains recorded on Wednesday to emerge the highest loser. It's followed by Dangote Cement and Ashoko Cement with losses of 5 naira 1 kobo and 1 naira 9 kobo respectively. ICO Insurance, Zenith Bank and Sterling Bank were the major contributors to market volume. When the closing bell rang, investors had exchanged 486.51 million units of shares in over 5,000 deals for a value of 4.63 billion naira. That's it on the Stock Market Report. I'm Temple Ashaju.
Thank you, Temple. That's it on Business News. On the news at 10, we'll leave you with those global markets before Ijoma returns with the rest of the news at 10.
Still ahead on the news at 10, despite failing to qualify for the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations, Nigeria maintains same position in latest FIFA ranking. That's on sports. Do join us again.